Jerzy.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tony, for inviting me.
You're very
Great to be
welcome.
here.
I'm really looking forward to this insightful conversation, and your background is very intriguing. So I'm really looking forward to delving deeper into your background. You certainly achieved many accolades as a freedom fighter. You've got many medals due to that freedom fighting. You've also 4 times world champion in weightlifting. So there's a lot of credentials that you come with. So I really look forward to this insightful conversation. But I'd love you to bring the listeners up to speed as to how you have arrived at what you're doing today.
Well, short version or long,
I love a
I'm a
story. I love
person
a
of 7
story.
lives. Well, that's a big question. So, how I would answer? Well, I was born in Poland, and I loved Poland, so it was great to be there. Although I was born in the Soviet occupied Poland, so born like a slave, without ability to do almost anything, and with conscious focus on appreciating all the bosses, and if not, you could be having problems. So in a way, we all had to be Machiavellis in Soviet occupied country. It was the situation that you could be, you could die on a daily basis. So that's how it was, tortured and so on, right? So that living in Poland was not really something at that time pleasant, or even something that uh, you could get a compound interest in something. The only place where you could was athletics and education. That these are the two places. When it came to any business, that was not really uh, the issue. You couldn't really uh, evolve as a person that uh, would grow business and accumulate business value over time. And business was in a way illegal, right? Everything was uh, government owned. I really like to have an idea to be a fireman. At 19, I became a fireman. I really loved to be a fireman. I at the first fire, when I was going um, to the fire, I had really this feeling of that people need me, and it was the first time that I actually had it and realized it. And I really liked that. I really like to go and save somebody. So it was something that um, I really loved, and I was definitely an action person. It could be that my instant gratification was very strong, and maybe delayed gratification not so good. So fireman was perfect for me. Um, well, after 5 years, I really like it so much that I went to Protection Engineering Academy in Warsaw. Spent 4 years, and it was 81, and Solidarity was at that time uh, challenged by the government, communistic government in Poland, and they tried to change the law. They tried to place um, fire protection into a paramilitary force instead of civilian force. That would allow the government to use fire department, firemen against demonstrations. And one of the ways would be they could color water and spray on demonstrants and arrest them later, capture them, on streets. So we said no, and I was one of the leaders of the strike. And after 10 days of no sleeping, dealing with negotiations, right? I was tough. No sleeping 10 days. Coffee and cigarettes. That's all there was. We couldn't eat and we couldn't sleep. So after 10 days, they attack us by using helicopters, like anti-terrorist brigade landed on the roof of the academy, and tanks rolled through and then took us out. After they took us out, they asked us, they dissolved the school or the academy didn't exist anymore. They formed a different one, a different name, and asked us to sign. So there were 400 students, and I was just right before graduation. And then they asked us to sign the allegiance to the new academy. And meantime, they really made the attack on Solidarity. They placed under arrest about 5,000 leaders. So the situation was pretty dark, but hundreds of us didn't sign the allegiance. They walk out of that. And because of that, I couldn't finish my engineering graduation. I couldn't graduate, and I couldn't be a fireman anymore. So I lost everything, but also gained everything, because I was now around Solidarity leaders, and that was an amazing experience that I gained from that. So first time I saw people that they truly loved people, and they were people that carried with themselves this unconditional love. And I thought always it was fake. It was not real. People pretended that to gain something. But when I actually saw it, that changed my life, flipped completely. And I was underground until 1984. And in 1984, Jerzy Gregorek was a priest. He was captured, he was tortured and murdered. And that was a really tough times for Polish people, losing him. And it was like the force was closing on me as well. And then I decided to leave the country and went to Sweden, then went to Germany. Because in Sweden, when I was in Sweden, I asked for a political asylum, but I couldn't immigrate to US because Sweden was not NATO at that time. I had to go to Germany. Meantime, my wife had problems with her passport, to get the passport, but eventually she did, and she bribed people, and it was an amazing situation that she was going through, with all rejections and finally bribing and getting passport and getting out of Poland. In Sweden, I because what I experienced in Solidarity, that's why I say you lose everything, you gain everything. It was I became the person that really could help others when they were under difficult stress. And some of them, they were on hunger strikes because they were divided from their families. And I started seeing people, and somehow people like how I talk to them, and they started calling me village priest, and and, and I was doing something that I was not doing before, and it worked. There was this psychologist, Wanda Sai. She was in Solidarity in Stockholm, and coming from Warsaw, and she said that she would like to open the clinic and for me in Stockholm, and so I could do what I was doing, and she could learn what I was doing, actually, because what I was doing was working, but she didn't know why it was working. I think it was complex because it was working because I was embraced by mentors in Warsaw that they were extraordinary people, and then when you meet a person like that in life, it can flip you in one day or a minute. It's just amazing power some people have. So I told her that I was not going to stay in Stockholm, that I'm going to America. Then she said, then you have to write. I said, why I would write? I've never written anything. I was like math, physics, chemistry. And she said, well, you have to write because you have something to say and people should hear that. That was 85. And I went home and I thought about writing something. She said, oh, you take the piece of paper, pen, look at that and write something. Okay. So I came home and whatever I wrote became a poem on a page. I didn't think normally. I thought in poems. So that was interesting for me. I was looking at the page and the poem was there. So that was interesting. That was my first poem. I was 31 years, 31 years old. And so after that, shortly I went to Germany, and then I ended up in CIA for about 2 weeks, talking about underground solidarity. It was the time when somebody was a spy underground, and a lot of arrests, and people in the West tried to understand what was going on there and who was the person that caused that. And shortly after, I ended up in US and landed in New York. We had a really big bag, and our sponsors were in Detroit. Then we landed in Detroit. Our baggage, the whole bag backpack never came. So we lost everything. We had to turn the clothes on ourselves and $1,000. That's what we got. So after 18 hours, we knew that we didn't want to stay in Detroit. So went to the airport, bought tickets for cash there at the airport. I don't know what airline, but we landed in LA. When we landed, there was the person that was going to come and help us and didn't come. And so she was sick. She said she cannot pick us up. Then, my wife was really had big eyes and scared. So I said, well, we'll find a way. So, look at these people. Millions of people found a way. We'll find a way too. So I started calling, and there was this Polish man who came at 2 a.m. So we landed at 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. he came and he said, I can take you somewhere, but I cannot take you where I live because I take care of this house and, I cannot take you there. So there was this man on the plane that we were flying, and he shared with us the address he was going to his aunt in Los Feliz. And So I said, well, take us there. So he took us there. And there was another man who was Polish guy who was renting a place, one room. He let us stay there, sleep on the floor, and we began our days. And there was this Polish family that living not far from there, and they let us also to live in the unfinished house that they were building in the backyard. And we started living there. They fed us, and and it was really great Polish family, and it was just with beautiful integrity, and they were also immigrants. The woman was captured in Poland, and then she was sent to Germany and work in the camps there. And after that, she immigrated to Canada, and then came to US, and she became a barber and opened the store. So after 2 months, we were 2 months we were walking around, and we like to walk, so we walk and walk until we walked to Glendale, and we went to Burbank, and in Burbank we found Power Source Gym. I walk in and talk to the owner, and meantime, I talk also to Bob Heiss. He was a president of American Weightlifting Association, and he said, coaches that come from Eastern Bloc, they become mechanics because there is no money for Olympic lifting coaches. So I said, okay, Bob, I don't want to fix cars. What are the other options? Oh, he said, there's something new, but coaches usually don't like it. I said, what's that? And he said, well, it's called personal trainer. So people go to gyms and they know how to train, coach, and so they coach, and people pay them, and that's maybe you will like it, so you go and check it. So I became this kind of a personal trainer at the beginning, and so the owner in Power Source said, I will give you 5 hours from Monday to Friday, $5 per hour, and you will be receiving people, introducing them to the gym, and writing them programs for whatever they needed. And everyone has this free hour. If they like you, they will sign for a private session, and we'll charge them $25, and you will take 15 and they will take 10. I said, okay. So I started doing that. And I really enjoy talking to people. And also solving their problems. And there were many problems, different problems. And so it's more fun because, it's not the same. So some people wanted to be beautiful, and some people wanted not to have pain, and some others wanted to be bigger, stronger, faster, or some other problems. So I was really good in solving these problems and writing programs and plans very fast. I had within a year, about 100 clients, and work 16 hours a day, Monday through Sunday. I work. I really work. I still work, so I don't work so many hours, but I love to work. And in my age is that I work not to gain money. I work to save myself, because at this age, senile atrophy can hit you very quickly. And so working and solving problems is one of the ways to keep the brain alive and quick, right? So because it needs to work. So when I was in Burbank, there was this situation that after I worked so many hours, I asked the manager to give me a better deal. So Jimmy said, "What do you want?" And I said, you give me 75%, you take 25. I train almost everybody in this gym. And he said, well, we don't do that, like things like this in America. I said, Jimmy, what do you mean in America? America is like, we need negotiate, like everything works, right? And he said, well, we'll see. I said, well, Jimmy, if I take the people out of your gym, 100 people, you lose a lot of money on a monthly basis and also membership. He said, we'll see how America treats you. I said, you really want to see it? He said, yeah. I said, okay. So I drove around and to find the gym, and eventually I found on Lancashire, Frank's gym, and went there and I asked Frank about, and Frank said, "Wow, you can bring the people here. They pay membership, and that's it." I said, "So what do you mean that's it? So you don't want any cut out of that what I do?" I said, "No." I said, so I right away, I love math, so right away I understood that if my clients come here, I have 100%, not 75%. So I said, well, fantastic. I told everyone as January 1st, 1988. So I spent 1 year in 87 in power service, and that I'm moving, my wife as well. If they want to move, they have to meet me in the gym, Frank's gym on Lancashire Boulevard. And everyone moved. So I had 100%, right? So I called Jimmy. I said, Jimmy, thank you so much. And Jimmy hang up on me. I didn't want to talk to me. It was crazy. Then Gold's Gym opened in North Hollywood. We moved there. And then we started really training people and solving their problems. And years were passing. And we started really understanding there is a certain way of approaching health and healing and getting better. And that certain way could be actually some kind of a program with certain standards of flexibility, strength, and posture. That's all what people want. Sometimes they want vague things like energy, but if you follow the strength and you follow the the speed, coordination, mobility, then you'll get there. And the mostly we wanted make people powerful, flexible, stronger, fast, and we wanted that. But also many people wanted to lose weight, so we competed at that time, and so we knew where is that spot, the sweet spot where the body performs the best. We watch athletes, we look at soccer players, weightlifters, and hockey players. What was the relationship between the height and the weight? So we map everything, average everything, and we had the body weight. And we found the body fat by competing. I was about 3% body fat when I competed, but off season I was about 10%, and then Anila was about 13%, and she competed at 6-7%. So we thought, okay, so 10% off season when we are the fattest, this is the best, actually, the body fat for people. So if they could be that percentage, that's awesome. The body weight we took it from like I said, all the athletes there. And then we didn't have really the strength standard for the happy body. So how it happened, I competed at 2002 in Melbourne. It was the World Games, which is called like Olympics for Master Division. And I went to see weightlifters, 80-year-old plus. And I saw this Charlie Henderson came and he clean and jerk more weight than his body weight was. And I was just looking at that, and I was just thinking, this is crazy, you know, how this 80-year-old can have so much power still. You know, when we were like, you know, 15, and we were lifting weights, you know, like and the weights were, you know, everywhere, and then, you know, one day we were just lifting weights. So the best of us really could do it, right? And now I had this person. So what I did was that I clicked. I said, well, it has to be the standard of really good life, the strength of that 80-year-old, and the speed of that 80-year-old, and flexibility. Who's perfect. So that gave me the idea of how to transition all the numbers and make them numbers for regular lifts, for standard lifts that could be the happy body exercise program. And that was good. That was the last thing that we needed. We had numbers for flexibility, we had numbers for leanness, we had numbers for the body weight. So we had numbers for posture. We knew how to set it up. And I had an engineering background, so it was easy for me to create something that would be measurable. And I like measurable because it's honesty. You know, like you are responsible for something. If you are, then you have to measure it. If you don't measure it, then you're not responsible, really. You know, you say approximately, and that's it. So the happy body is all numbers, 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 numbers. So if somebody wants to challenge that, there are numbers. So challenge me, challenge the book, right? And it's amazing system that helps people to regain flexibility, get stronger, dealing with the age, and prevent sarcopenia, and challenge, senile atrophy, that, shrinking of the brain and everything else in our body. So the book was in our brain, but the book was not really written. So we hired the writer and spent about half a year, gave us the written material. So it was horrible. My wife said, no way, that's not a happy body. So we hired another one. It's the same story. So I said, Daniela, we have to become writers. There's no way that somebody can pull us out of it, this thing. So what is inside? So she said, well, okay. So what do? We entered the Vermont creative writing program, spent 2 years, and became I graduated with MFA in creative writing. And then took us about 10 years really, with editors and helping us to actually write that textbook, the book that would be that would explain why we were doing it. So the philosophy had to be the part of the book. Why the happy body? Why do we need it? Why there are standards? So philosophy is about half of the book. And then the other half of the book is, okay, if you know why now, it is usually that when people understand why, they would burn how. So then the how has to be the plan. To do it. So another half is the plan, how to deal with the food, how to deal with the exercise, how to progress with micro progression and healing and reconstruction of your body if it's already broken, and on and on. If you have it, then you can practice. You get the book, and everything is in the book. You can practice, and within 3 months and 4 months, you will get better, and you will keep getting better and developing that way of living independently from everybody else. That was our mission. And because we can train, like I said, 100 people, and that's it. And every 2 weeks, some of them, and once a month. So the book was published in 2009. Then I thought, okay, the book is published. Now, then what's now, right? The people will buy the book and everything is, our clients too. But that didn't happen. So still, when even people had the book, they had the why, they still had difficulties, suffered the consequences of not following. It was really difficult for people to follow. Okay, so then I kept seeing people differently now, once a week, and trying to mentor them toward that. I started writing poems when I saw the suffering, and then dialogues with fatalists and the master, creating scenarios of mental health and creating the ways for people that could become the masters of the mental health and well-being. And until today, this is how everything goes. We keep evolving and keep educating ourselves, trying to understand what is more needed for the happy body that would help people to engage and succeed within. 3.5 years ago, my daughter went to college, and I said, okay, people always wanted the research for the happy body. So I didn't understand the research, therefore the like search or what is the research? We created the whole thing. We didn't really research it. And what kind of research is that? And then, so I really didn't understand, but I knew that PhD has to happen. So when my daughter went to school, I said, Aniela, we are going to go and do PhD. So we started, 3.5 years ago. Aniela started, we both started mind-body medicine department, but then I flipped into the humanistic psychology. I'm more in the philosophy and psychology and shifting from negative thinking to the positive thinking. I'm really uh, digging in that and trying to understand that, not only understand is how to become this role model, how to really talk to people that actually flip like people flip me, right, in Poland. So that's where we are today. I'm devoting now my time to finding the way how to tell people about the happy body so it is attractive, it is embraceable, they can embrace the hard choices to create for themselves this life of the happy body. And I'm still in the process of education. Sorry about this long thing, but this is crazy.
story.
I've never really had a monologue like that. This is really, somehow you put me into it.
It's an incredible story, and thank you for sharing. Thank you for taking us on your lifelong journey in this was a short form, really. Ultimately,
It is a short form.
yes. and I'm really intrigued about so many aspects of your journey. You've touched on this connection with people, and it seems to be quite something that's your superpower, like this way in which you connect, understand, and able to help people. Like when you were in Sweden, that you were called the village priest. So and you went back and like you thought, well, how do I have this superpower? Where does it come from? And you shared that you had many mentors when you were in the underground of Warsaw, and these people really helped you describe that there's a flip, a different way of seeing the world. So I'm intrigued as to what this flip is, how you help
Me too.
solve people's problems.
Well, it's I became a good person. First of all, this overwhelming goodness happened in me. Also, during the solidarity time, it was this time in Poland, like it is now, maybe. But it was the time when Polish people were happy and you could talk to everybody everywhere. And I really loved 80 and 81. And when you when you meet certain people, so I met Thich Nhat Hanh, and I met Thich Nhat Hanh here in it was 80s, it was maybe 88, 89. In Malibu, he gave this ordination for Buddhists and ordain us as Buddhists. And I met Thich Nhat Hanh, and Thich Nhat Hanh was this kind of human being that when you were around him, it was blessing. It's like you were blessed by human being, like so there are people charged with something, with so much goodness, I guess, that it's very clear that when you are in front of that person, and then it's very clear that that person creates safe for you 100%. You're safe with that person, and also you are wished good and everything else. So you start experiencing that, and once you start experiencing that, you want to live that kind of a life. Of course, to become Thich Nhat Hanh is somehow he became, because I remember I started reading his books, and as soon as I came to US, and I read all his books, and his books were for me like, I don't know, prayer. It's really hard to describe, but I really like his words and kept reading them and kept reading, and I never had enough really of Thich Nhat Hanh writing. So now, even though we lost him, I still, buying the books and reading them. So to answer your question, there is no way to find out why Socrates happened, right? Or Zeno, right? So, or the solidarity members like Severin Jaworski and Popiełuszko. What happens to these people like Professor Weicher that I was fortunate to be around them. And so, but the people like that exist in the world. And I always look for them. So I remember Chopra and Wayne Dyer, and when Wayne Dyer, we heard Wayne Dyer, we went to the conference and introduced ourselves to Wayne Dyer. We love Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer was really the force of, another goodness, right? It's just throughout whole his life, all the books he wrote and delivered the speeches. One thing he had in mind, helping people to get better. It's that was his mission. Chopra was different a little bit because he was also Ayurveda and meditation, TM, and had a clinic, and he had a medical background. It's a different approach, mixture of really Ayurveda and traditional, medicine. So mentors, and my coach was kind of a person like that. It was really somebody that like a teacher from Stand and Deliver, the teacher that is devoted and is going to help you. Is going to help you to understand something, to get better, and it's going to happen. There's all micro progression are going to happen, no matter what, right? You start believing right away from the first day that this teacher is going to stay with you. So I coached this cerebral palsy boy for 5 years, and the father said, when we met Jerzy, we knew that this guy is going to stick with us. So I did. I took the boy from the one that didn't know what is 3 minus 2 to college, right after 5 years, and helped him with the energy, and helped him with the how better walk and talk and all of it. It's another way of responding to the problem, I would say, and fixing the problem. Digress a little bit.
Not at all. You certainly shared how you've been inspired by those that have managed to hold the space for you to feel calm and safe. And in a time when everyone felt very unsafe with the uncertainty of not knowing what the communists would do. And so these people held that space for you to feel safe, and it enabled you to want to learn more from them, is to, how can I feel more like this? And you've been on a lifelong journey. What would be your life lessons from, all these countries you've been to, living under extreme suppression, the uprising and fight in you, to starting all over again many times? What's been your, the big standouts for you in terms of what you've learned from life?
It's must be the thinking forward, like focusing on where you are in the present moment, and enjoy present moment, first of all. The worst thing that you could do, I would say, would be complain and blame. So these are the things that I watch myself not to do, and they help me, to go forward, to accept the present moment, no matter how hard it is. And it's present moment. I was always interested in the present moment. What do I do to get better? I've never been interested in about why I arrived to that place, and I've never been interested in my clients, how they arrived to where they were. My focus was only how to make better that place. And that's how I was to everyone. And that's what only my focus was. I remember this Zen joke, is going something like this. You go forward, you get better, and you die. And then you go backward, you get worse, and you die. And so the punchline said, why not to go forward? so, I go forward. I choose forward. I'm not interested in books explaining me why we messed up. I really don't. And my always focus is wherever people are, I picked up the weakness and make it better. And only focus on that. If people are not flexible, okay, we are not flexible. I'm not interested how it happened, but you're not flexible. So I will make you flexible. You are weak. You need to get stronger, right? Like cerebral palsy couldn't lift the bar, 15 pounds bar off the rack. And after 5 years, he pressed almost 170 pounds. So, okay, if you are not fast, all right, we need speed. We are not flexible. You are, slouch. So I'm not going to tell you how bad these things and so on, and what you did, and you brought yourself to it. That's not really interesting. But interesting for me is how I can get you from really slouch to really beautiful posture, right? So that's I think that is the main thing that we need to learn, to flip from negative to positive. And it's not easy, of course, right? Because it can be years of practice and being around people that are positive. So you see, I was around people who were positive and never complained. You know, solidarity was a lot of people like that. Never complain. You know, I've never heard, Thich Nhat Hanh complaining. Really. So, Mother Teresa complaining, it was really weird, right? So there is something about that, when we complain, we make ourselves a victim, make ourselves in a place impossible to come out of it. So it is that ownership that needs to be done can only happen in when we take responsibility for the present moment, in the present. Then there is other thing that my coach taught me something. He said, Olympics are a flicker of a horizon. It's not the fire. So don't train too hard, really, but enjoy the training on a daily basis and weekly basis and monthly basis and yearly basis, and things will happen. So that I learned not to have expectations, pursue something, pursue, the PhD and or Olympics or understanding certain like Stoicism, but or poetry, but not really expect that I will be a great poet, right? It's not really important, really. So what's important is that whatever happens, that's what happens, and that has to be enough at that time. And then you have time, then you keep practicing more. And it's not important to really go to Olympics, but the journey is important. It's like we learn something. When I left, I couldn't graduating from engineering department. People that said you lost everything, but I didn't really feel like I lost everything. It still was an engineering. I could design things. It's not like I lost everything. No. So the journey was there. There was 4 journey of being, in academia, and it stayed with me. So the journey is important, and the journey needs to be pleasant, kind, joyful. And I understood that we need goals. We need big goals, not small goals. Not like losing 10 pounds, 20 pounds, or going to the gym every day for a month. No, we need goals, 5 years goals, not really, 2 months, 3 months goals. They are not goals. They are the kind of things to get, but these are not goals. But we need goals because the goals help us they mobilize us to find the plans, to find the people that could help us on the way, on the journey, and everything changes and shifts and make us better.
And what's your goal at the moment?
So I'm building the programs that could help people transition to the happy body. But also I came out with this idea that I'm going January 5th. I'm going to do the happy body program 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every day for a year, maybe more years, right? I give myself first 1 year. I will be appearing daily, and people can drop in on a daily basis or by subscription, but daily basis is $9.45, I think, for a month. And I will be doing every day. So I've never done anything like that, but I understand that it's really hard to create a habit that you do something every day, and it's physical. It can be boring. It can be not enough what you want, or you are really tired and exhausted and you don't want to do it. So there are many elements that people need help. So I will be there. If they need me for a day or two, I will be there, and I will be doing my workout, talking a little bit about the happy body, 30 minutes, maybe 40. And I'm going to devote myself as of January 5th to anybody that needs me. So,
Wow.
and then of course PhD. My PhD is moving, so I have another maybe 2 years, with that. I graduate probably maybe the year and a half or 2 years. But as I said, uh, enjoying the journey is the ultimate wisdom. Then things happen, right? So, and then when things happen, then there's something else happen, because it gives you this joy that you did something. And when you do something and it's good, you're proud of yourself that you become the person that is good for yourself, right? That you are good. It feels good.
You've shared such incredible wisdom and insights with the listeners, and I really thank you for everything that you've shared. I'm really keen for you to share how the listeners can, first of all, buy your book, and secondly, join you on this program starting the 5th of January.
Oh yeah, of course. Thank you. Well, thank you for inviting me. It's always it's a constant talks about that creates the first message. And that's why we talk. That's why talk is important, because somewhere somebody maybe will listen to this and flip, right? Make a decision. I'm going to do that, and become the person that who's going to practice to the end of the life. You really never know. So the first thing is about the message, and so the message could be heard. The message doesn't have to deliver the flip, but at least the message is heard, right? Like the book is published, so the book is there. I can wait for 20 years for me to read it, but it's there, right? So thank you for inviting me, and thank you for talking to people, and this opportunity about talking to people. There is such a thing like the happy body. Is the first message, and then we spend the whole life on creating, understanding it, and all of it at the beginning was just the journey of solving people's problems, and that journey was fantastic journey. I really love to be a coach, a trainer, and then of course I coach Olympic weightlifters, and I had a team at the UCLA. But I really like one-on-one, sitting with a person and hearing the whatever it is there, and finding how to move forward and how to go forward, what words to use. I always believe that there are words the right words in the right time to the right person. When you actually find that, it's magical. People, can, flip, can practice for 40, 50 years, and you would never think that person would do such a thing. But such a thing exists. I had this client that came with his wife from Nashville, and my other client sent him. I didn't want to see him because usually I coach people, but my clients insisted. So I said, okay, great. I'm going to see him. So he came with his wife. I talk about 30 minutes about the happy body, how great it is. But then he said, yeah, I understand all of it, but I don't care. I said, you don't care? And he said, no, I don't care. And I look at the wife, and wife was like, something dark came on her, this fear and sadness together. And that flipped me into seeing something here. So I told him, you don't have the right not to care. And he said, of course I have the right. I said, no, you don't. And he said, yes, I do. I said, no, you don't. I said, why do you think that I don't have the right? I said, well, because you messed up. You get married. And you're not alone in the world. And you have 2 kids. And you have responsibility. You are not alone. If you came here to me alone, you are not married, and you told me, I don't care, well, it's okay. You don't care, you don't care. But not in that situation. You have responsibility. Your life is beyond you, is bigger than you. That's why you don't have the right. So I didn't hear anything for half a year, and my client says, do you remember this guy that you saw? And I said, yeah, I remember. What happened? He said he bought the book on the plane. He read the book. They landed in Nashville, went to Whole Food, bought all the food, and he lost 60 pounds in a year, half a year, I think. I said, wow, it's incredible. And I was shocked, you see, because we really don't know what words. We know only after the fact, but we don't know which words spoken to the person and in certain time and certain way can create such a thing. It's just one example, but it's 1 in 1,000, right? So it's not such a thing that I can do every day or I hear every day. No, but I know that these words exist for every person. That's why it's important to talk. That's why it's important to read, because in a book you can find, you can read 100 books, and then you have a book and you read like 5 words there, and they really shift you, like flip you, and change your world completely. So I believe that language is powerful, and poetry is powerful, and proverbs and affirmations are powerful, and sometimes those 5 words appear, and we maybe need 4 or 5 years or 10 years to read before we arrive actually to the place where we can actually assimilate them in that certain way. And therefore, it's important for us, I think, to read, keep reading every day. I read every day, I write every day, I coach every day, exercise every day. Why not?
Fantastic. And you're no doubt flipping someone somewhere in the world every day. As you said, you don't often find out till after the fact. So I really thank you for spending such a large amount of your time relative to probably some other podcasts you may have done. But I really appreciate you sharing lots of words of wisdom with the Health Up listeners. I'll include links to your book, links to your program in the show notes. So listeners, please go directly to those links. And I just want to thank you once again, Jerzy, for coming on the Me and My Health Up podcast and sharing all your wisdom with the listeners.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate your questions and appreciate listening to me. That was actually amazing, the way that you listen. So thank you. I appreciate that. And I hope I will come in a year or two and tell you the certain stories how they evolve. How was the journey, right?
Absolutely. I'll definitely want to have you back on, because we'll have lots of talk about your PhD and all everything else you've achieved in the meantime. To the listeners, please share it far and wide. If this has resonated with you, it's caused some sort of flip, we want to get this out to many people as possible so that they can experience the words, the wisdom from Jerzy. So please share it far and wide, and continue to health up in your way. And as Jerzy said constantly, it's all about enjoying the journey. So it's finding what resonates with you and applying it, doing the discipline, doing those micro progressions every day. So please look at, buy Jerzy's book, or listen to him on other podcasts. Follow Jerzy, because there's gems there waiting for you, waiting to really cause the flip in your life, and particularly around body transformation. But to me, this conversation with Jerzy hasn't just been around body transformation. It's been the whole psychology that he's shared, in terms of no matter what you experience, you can flip out of that and create an incredible life. So thank you, Jerzy, once again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.